I was thinking about how Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he is Adi Guru, right? He's Balaram Tattva. So when he was performing his pastimes in Bengal, he would go from here and there, chanting the holy name constantly. Right? Everywhere he went, he was just completely absorbed in the holy name. Doing kirtan, he'd leave Jagannath Puri after the Rath Yatra with Lord Chaitanya, and he would chant with all his associates back to Bengal. And they'd be going to one certain place, and they would be so absorbed in the kirtan, they would pass that place by many, many miles. Then they'd stop and say, "Where are we?" And they would ask, "Where is this place?" And they'd say, "Oh, that's like 30 miles back." So then they'd start the kirtan and they'd go back, and then they'd pass it again, and they'd be in the wrong direction, and it's 25 miles that way. So I was thinking that he roamed all over the place, chanting the holy name and inspiring Harinam, chanting the Harinam. And and Srila Prabhupada, being an empowered acharya, went all over the world and inspired the holy name in everyone. That to this day, even those of us who never met him, but through his instructions and through his disciples, we've gotten the opportunity to chant the holy name. And what a gift. When Lord Chaitanya said of one time the devotees asked Lord Chaitanya, how can you know a Vaishnava? And Lord Chaitanya gave 3 things. Hopefully I can remember them. 3 things. Anybody knows them, help me if I forget. One is someone who has faith in the holy name. They chant Hare Krishna. And the other, they engage others in the chanting of the holy name. And the third is one who, simply by seeing them, you have a desire to chant the holy name. So I was thinking that how many people in the world have been inspired by Srila Prabhupada just by seeing him. And one very dear friend, Jamuna Devi, one time told me, not one time, all the time, something she always told us is, and when you listen to Srila Prabhupada's lectures, you will hear him speak, you'll hear him emphasize and use this word urgency. The urgency of taking our practice of bhakti seriously. Because death will come at any moment, and the perfection of human life is to awaken our love for Krishna. And I always think on this day of how much he stressed that urgency and the need to not waste time, but to practice our sadhana, do our service very seriously. So I just want to thank Srila Prabhupada for giving us the opportunity to do that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Balantai Prabhu. We'll go to William.
Hare Krishna, everyone. I just wanted to share a short story about Srila Prabhupada that I read online, and then a short comment to add on to the end of it. This is a direct quotation from one of Srila Prabhupada's earliest disciples, Govinda Dasi. So Govinda Prabhu said, a significant thing that happened in Boston was that Swamiji became Srila Prabhupada. Gaurasundar was studying various forms of address in Sanskrit, and he learned that Ji is an affectionate form of address, which was news to us. I was sitting in Srila Prabhupada's room taking dictation, as I often did, and Gaurasundar at the doorway said, Swamiji, is it okay if I call Govinda Dasi Govindaji? Swamiji said, no. Ji is a third-class form of address. You should not. I said, why are we calling you Swamiji if it's a third-class form of address? He said, it is not very important. I said, no, it is very important. What is the best thing we can call you? Swamiji said, you could call me Gurudev, or Guru Maharaj, or Srila Prabhupada. I said, which of those three is best? And Swamiji said, Srila Prabhupada is nice. I said, okay, and told all the devotees. From that day, he was no longer Swamiji, but Srila Prabhupada. Now, the second part of the story, I couldn't find the exact transcript for, so now I'm just moving into paraphrase. But I heard Govinda Prabhu speak in an interview and go on to say that she then asked Srila Prabhupada, well, okay, we'll call you Srila Prabhupada, but what does it mean? And Srila Prabhupada told her that Prabhupada means someone at whose feet the Prabhus sit. That's one kind of prominent translation of that word. And so I've been really thinking a lot today about how there is no teacher without students, you know, and how one way that we can remain extremely well connected with Srila Prabhupada, not only through his books and recorded lectures, of course, but also through his exalted students who have given so much service to the Hare Krishna movement over the world in the last 50-some years. And I think, at least for myself, sometimes I take the association of such exalted souls for granted. And I want to kind of just encourage everyone, including myself, hopefully I can take my own words seriously here, to take advantage of all the time we have with Srila Prabhupada's wonderful disciples while we have it, and not to waste a single second, because they are the ones that made Srila Prabhupada. They are the Prabhus at his feet, and so just want to express eternal gratitude for him and all of his disciples today. Thank you.
Anyone? Who's next? Sure. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Like you said, I mean, we are all on the spiritual journey. I mean, I certainly, consider, myself to be the one trailing behind the herd. But I just want to speak, a few words on this occasion of Prabhupada's appearance day. The topic that I wanted to touch, was, is how to go about life, how to deal with the circumstances, how to inculcate the habit of, forgiveness. And I'm just reflecting, so, not towards the end, but I'll say in the beginning only. If I'm blabbering, excuse me. But so, I mean, we all tend to be reactive in different life situations, as either we get stressed out or compare ourselves to others, or lose our state of peace, if you will. But but let's look at the great lives, of Prabhupada, or Lord Krishna or Lord Rama. I mean, whose lives and the paths they took, they were never rosy. I mean, they strided the most difficult paths in their lives. I mean, Lord Rama, for example, the day he was supposed to be incarnated on the throne in the morning, at night he was told he has to go to forest. And in both situations, he didn't react. I mean, in one case he was not positive, vibrating with positive emotions, and on the other side he didn't exhibit the negative emotions which we would do today. I mean, if somebody were to told he's losing all his property and he has to go out in jungle, I mean, we can just imagine how we would react. And like Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sitoshna Sukhadukkeshu Samassanga Vivarjitaha Tulyan Indastutir Mauni Santustoyena Kenachit. So the God loves a person who, in hot or cold, in situations of praise or be it condemnation, they maintain equilibrium, because this material world, I think we are supposed to be just observing. It's just act of God. I mean, everybody is God's children. I mean, we have no right to hate somebody or it's just God's children. We just need to love somebody, love everybody. Sorry. And then Lord Rama then goes and Sita herself, she also followed Lord Rama into the jungle. I mean, one could imagine if that were today's situation, there probably the wife would probably say, okay, you know what, I'll probably live in the kingdom here, and I'll see you later, kind of a thing. But she just went behind Lord Rama, and that's a sacrifice. And Lakshmana himself, sacrificed, his whole life serving Lord Rama. And so back to the how to inculcate the habit of forgiveness. It goes back to, this is just Lord's creation. Lord Vishnu in his dream, he's just creating this situation. We just need to observe what's going on, not to react with a given situation. And that's when, once we disengage and disconnect from what's happening, is when we try to observe what's happening around us, is when we tend to not get emotional with a given situation. Be it a situation where one would have to jump in joy, or one would have to burrow their head in sorrow, they would learn to be in equilibrium. I just want to reflect on that. That's that practice. If we start, the world will start getting better. That's all. Hari Bol.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak?
Hey Krishna. Before getting connected to this Krishna consciousness movement, I used to think all that is a set of chemicals and reactions of those things, and we are the byproducts of all of that. And the way I got introduced to this movement is through Srila Prabhupada's books, and especially Bhagavad Gita as it is. And when I first saw the book, I've seen many different Bhagavad Gitas that were titled Bhagavad Gita, Teachings of Bhagavad Gita, and many other, but I've never seen As It Is. I've always wondered the As It Is part. And I never realized it for a long time as I was reading, but it was sort of like a realization after reading Srila Prabhupada's books for some time. And Srila Prabhupada used to say, purity is a force, right? The purity and is in the message that Srila Prabhupada carried all along in his purports is very pure, that it can transform the hearts of even someone like me, who was very atheistic in nature, and definitely I'm not the first. There would have definitely been more, but that's something that I always am thankful for Prabhupada, all his books, and so is the association of the devotees who are living the message of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and all of ISKCON, establishing all the centers. And I think it's the essence of one of the 7 purposes of the ISKCON as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just I'm really thankful for Prabhupada and all his disciples for carrying the movements very enthusiastically forward and bestowing their mercy on such a fallen soul like me. Thank you.
Thank you. So, who's next? So we'll do. We are so fortunate to have some disciples of Srila Prabhupada, Vedavati Mataji, Sri Prada Mataji, and I don't know the name here, Mataji and Prabhuji. So we'll start with them at around 5:30 is what I was thinking. So we have another 5 minutes. Would any other devotees want to say something? Sure.
Hello everyone. I really want to thank ISKCON. I want to say the reason for that. I really feel privileged of being in situations where I can have an easy access to ISKCON from my childhood till this age. I was in my home country. I had access to ISKCON. I had access to ISKCON's words. And then I flew for higher studies to USA in Texas, where I had access to ISKCON. And now I moved here for my working career, and I really feel privileged and lucky of having access to ISKCON again. And I'm yet to start my journey with ISKCON, and somehow I feel Krishna introduced the thought into me, or he aroused the curiosity of knowing answers to the questions which arouse from myself. So I was always in quest of answers to my questions, but situations distracted me from my quest. And somehow ISKCON was always around me, trying to pull me back towards my quest. And now I think Krishna created many situations around me which facilitated me to sit and think about Bhagavad Gita, think about Krishna's thoughts from ISKCON as a medium. I really want to thank ISKCON for that. Thanks.
Thank you. And ISKCON is no different from Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada is no different from ISKCON. So thank you. Anyone else? Okay. So, sure.
Hare Krishna. Um, I have a very generic, extremely generic thought about this. But Srila Prabhupada, through so many, Srila Prabhupada went through so much to come here to the U.S. and give us Krishna consciousness. I struggle sometimes to just like get out of bed and like do normal things, but the amount of things that Srila Prabhupada has gone through in order to give us Krishna consciousness is truly amazing. And another thing is that being a part of this temple community ever since I was very young, it's provided me with everything that I could ever ask for. I've always felt the happiest being around the association of devotees, or being in front of the deities, being in front of Nitai Sachinandan. I've never found that true happiness anywhere else. And pretty much my entire life, my entire everything from beginning to end has Krishna has had such a huge effect on me, and having Srila Prabhupada's mercy has helped me more than I could ever imagine. And without Krishna consciousness in my life, I have no idea where I would be. So, yeah, without Srila Prabhupada coming here, struggling, going through everything that he's gone through to make us chant, there's like, it'd be I'd be nowhere. I'd be nothing. So, yeah, thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for everything. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So now we'll, anybody else for a very short offering? Okay.
Hare Krishna. So a couple of days ago, when Mataji asked me, why did you, were you always in Krishna consciousness? And I kind of went into this long-winded story about how my parents joined Krishna consciousness and I, as a child, grew up coming to the temple. And I sat and thought about it a little bit more, and I realized that my entire life has revolved around coming to the temple and being in Krishna consciousness. And if it weren't for the fact that I'd been coming to the temple, learning from Srila Prabhupada's books, learning from all the senior devotees here, I don't think my life would be the same at all. There's so much that happens in life. I'm only 20. I haven't experienced life very much. High school was stressful. College is another ballpark. And I can only imagine what real life is like. So if it weren't for Srila Prabhupada and the family he's built, the philosophy, the Krishna consciousness, the understanding of what life is really supposed to be like, I don't think I would have really made it this far. So I'm ever grateful to him for taking the time, the effort, the blood, sweat, and tears to come out here and to spread Krishna consciousness, because my life definitely would not be the same.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Tulsi. So for those that just arrived, because a lot of devotees just arrived, The plan, Jai Sachidanand Prabhu is in the kitchen cooking, so he's asked me to just sort of facilitate. The plan is to have offerings go till about 6 o'clock, then 6 to 6:30 we'll do Pushpanjali of Srila Prabhupada, and then 6:30 is the usual Aarti time for the deities. So we started with the younger generation, so to say the second generation first. The idea was that the Srila Prabhupada's disciples would go later so that more of us can hear their nectar. Does anybody else have a really short offering to say before we turn it over to the disciples of Srila Prabhupada? Okay, so we'll see how that goes, and then if there's time, we can come back to others. So, Mataji's, I turn it over to you. Thank you so much for being here and giving us your shelter. Are you going first? I don't have to. They're pointing to you. Okay.
Maybe I sit up. Nama Om Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Bacharane Nirvisesha Sunyavari Paskarchadi Satarane. So for anybody who doesn't know, my name is Krishna Bhamani. Given me this name by Srila Prabhupada. I'm sorry. 1967, Krishna directed me to the first Rath Yatra festival. I'll sit up here so I can see everybody. Oh. 1967, probably before any of you were born, I was directed to San Francisco just unknowingly. I had never been to San Francisco, and I wanted to go there. So one day I was just walking, and it was the first Rath Yatra festival that took place outside of India, and Krishna just put me right on that spot. And I looked up, and there was the banner. Whenever you go on Sankirtan, you should have the Hare Krishna mantra. And I looked up, and I said, I don't know what this means, but it's so beautiful. So at that moment, the chanting, the pure chanting of Hare Krishna was just, the seed was placed in my heart. And I had no experience of India or anything before that. And then I met Srila Prabhupada in Buffalo at my university. A year and a half later, he came, and I was taking a course. It was called Studies in Vedic Civilization, and it was taught by a devotee, Rupanuga. And we took the class. College is so, it was the perfection of my college, my 4 years of college, all my education was that last course. I had all my required subjects out of the way, and I took the course on Bhagavad Gita as it is, and my life has never been the same. So Prabhupada came to our university. He was so merciful. He went through so much austerity to give us Bhagavad Gita and so many, all of the amazing scriptures that he's translated. And so I was able to get initiation from him at that time. And I wrote a few things down, so there's so much, there's so much to say. Yesterday, I went to Junction City, Oregon, and I celebrated Janmashtami Janmashtami with some wonderful devotees. And I thought I was going to stay for today, and then it was quite far, and I realized there was a few Prabhupada disciples there, and maybe I come here instead. So let's see. I wanted to show you. These are two books for the future. They come out every year, and the Prabhupada disciples write their offerings in here. So if anybody wants to hear more about the devotees' experiences, they're so beautiful. You could read one a day, how different devotees met Srila Prabhupada and their experience. And then this is another one that we did. It's just the women, the daughters of Srila Prabhupada. I don't know if you both are in here. But anyway, these are also beautiful books which tell, because we're not going to be around here that much longer. So, not that Prabhupada wrote me in a letter, and he said, our children's children. So we were just the beginning. We just held the banner first. We were the first part of the medley, and you were all, taking up where we will leave off. And, I don't want anybody to forget Srila Prabhupada. After we're all gone, you have to keep, because Srila Prabhupada's everything. Let's see, I wrote a few things down. Okay. So at the festival that we had yesterday, such beautiful deities of Krishna, Balaram, and Lord Chaitanya. Beautiful marble deities like our beautiful Gauranitai here. We read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada's most intimate in the Bhagavatam. I mean, when we were sleeping, he was writing 2 a.m, staying up all night practically, writing his most deepest understandings just for our benefit. So we were reading, and then we had beautiful singing by one of Srila Prabhupada's dear granddaughters, Karnamrita. If you have heard of Karnamrita, she sings so beautifully. And so she happened to be there, and we go back with her for many, many years since she was young. She's the same age as my children, my grown children. So she led beautiful kirtan, and very simple. She explained that, what she's realized after so many years of singing, and she was just at Rath Yatra in Los Angeles, that simpler, Prabhupada taught us this Hare Krishna mantra. And she was singing, I think Prabhupada's introduction to Krishna book was Krishna, 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 hey, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava. Very, very simple. So we sang that. It was so, so beautiful, so deep. So what we see now, after 50 years or so, is the gifts that Prabhupada gave are just spread all over the world. All over the world, and especially even with social media now, we see. Today I was getting so many beautiful pictures from where my children and grandchildren are. My granddaughter's in Lithuania. She's been there for about the last month, doing a wonderful festival of the calm. It's all beautiful devotees, and today she was, doing beautiful drama plays with the youth there. And my other children and grandchildren are at the beautiful Berkeley Temple, the most amazing Vyasasan decorations for Srila Prabhupada. I mean, it just blows my mind to see all the, and the temples in Austria and England. My friends are posting all over the gorgeous decorations in honor of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna from yesterday. all the different sadhu sanghas all over, the chant camps that are taking place everywhere, the millions of plates of prasadam that are being distributed, Indradumna Swami and his Polish festival. Prabhupada began all of this. I mean, people are getting so blessed all over the world. The predictions of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and our Srila Prabhupada. If Srila Prabhupada hadn't come, none of this would have been taking place. The whole world is blessed by Srila Prabhupada. I said he's changed the world forever. We can't even, our words can't even describe. I have in these books as well, I've written all my specific experiences with Srila Prabhupada. So if anybody wants to read, I've discussed them sometimes in the past here. Let's see if there's anything else. I think the most important thing is that we carry on. Srila Prabhupada wrote me that my first duty is to see that my children develop nicely in Krishna consciousness. And he said, simply being in the association of other devotees, everybody will make progress. So all of us have such a responsibility to Srila Prabhupada to carry on the gifts that he's given us to save the world. It's in such, always throughout history, there's been such dark times. But Srila Prabhupada said, no, actually, it hasn't been since the beginning of time. He said it's been within the last, I think he said, 100, 200 years where things really started to go bad, go downhill. So I'm thankful that you're all here, and I want to pass the baton to all of you, and we just have to keep Prabhupada front and center and chant Hare Krishna and try and love Krishna and try and follow his basic instructions, chanting, reading, and sharing this beautiful knowledge with the world. So, Hare Krishna, anybody have any questions?
Not a big question. I mean, did you join with Bhagavan, or were you by yourself? Huh? There we are.
Oh, okay. Cool. Now this. Doesn't seem. Anyway, yeah. And at the end of the class, I still have my test. I passed. I got a pass. At that time, it was an extra course that was given. And at the end of the class, we went up to the
Probably should let you have this one.
That's not
Trade
working
you.
so well. Thank you. We went up and we said, we don't want to, we finished studying Bhagavad Gita, reading it. We don't want to put it on the shelf like you do when you read an ordinary book. How can we imbibe this in our lives? And he said, do you really want to know? Because he knew what, how do we imbibe this in our lives? And so, and we said, yes, we do. We want to know. And that's when he told us the regulative principles. It was the 60s, and, we accepted them readily. It was so that we could understand and appreciate Bhagavad Gita. And then we went to Ohio State when Prabhupada was chanting with Allen Ginsberg up on stage. There was thousands of students in the audience, and everybody got up. Everybody was just chanting and dancing in ecstasy. And then we went on to New Vrindavan, and we got married and initiated there. Same ceremony, and yeah, by Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. We were the only ones at that initiation and wedding. It was just ourselves. And I have a really nice story I probably told, but I can tell again. When I introduced myself, Krishna Bhamini, so way in the beginning, so many years back, we didn't know very much. I still don't after 52 years. I feel like I've just been a devotee for 52 days, unfortunately. I'm praying that at some point I can catch hold more and more to Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. But at that time, I just was thinking to myself, if I can only have Krishna in my name, but I didn't tell anybody that. So I went up to Prabhupada, and he said, what is your name? And I said, my name is Inez, I-N-E-Z. So he said, all right, your name shall be Indumati. And there was not many women at that time. There was maybe 20, 25 women. It was in 1969. And the secretary said, oh, Prabhupada, there is one devotee lady with that name. So Prabhupada said, okay. I have it on tape, by the way. I have my whole initiation on tape. So then Prabhupada said, your name shall be Indira Dasi. Indira. And then the secretary said, oh, Prabhupada, there's one devotee with that name too, Indira Dasi. So then Prabhupada said, I am trying to find something beginning with I, but I cannot. All right then, your name shall be Krishna Bhamini Dasi. Woohoo! So I was, needless to say, very ecstatic about that. So that was
wonderful.
Yeah, that was wonderful. I have some other name stories. Prabhupada knew everything. He just knew everything. He knows everything. He knows everything right now. Everything we're doing. When we're thinking of Srila Prabhupada, he's thinking of us. When we dream of Srila Prabhupada, he said, I am there. I am there. So Prabhupada is alive and well. And that's our whole teaching. We're not our bodies.
He said he's there in his books, in his writings, and his songs.
He's so there in his books. I mean, his consciousness, to understand everything is so important for us to read Srila Prabhupada's books.
Isn't that funny how he was thinking of some names for you and those names are already taken and it was just a small movement at that time?
Really, only, a few women.
Yeah. Rupanuga, did he do classes only at that university or many other universities?
Only at that university. The whole class became devotees and they would never let it be taught anymore after that. So, yeah, that was amazing. It was just happened, It said if the student is ready, the teacher will come.
And that's so cool that he got Prabhupada to come to the university. Prabhupada went to many universities, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I didn't even mention, all the wonderful temples that are, taking place in India, Mayapur, Vrindavan. I mean, this movement is unstoppable for the next 10,000 years. So the question is whether we are going to be a part of it.
Cool.
Thank you so much. I'm very thankful to be here with all of you.
We're happy to have you. Always happy. Jai!
Oh, I wanted to say one more thing.
Yeah.
The reason I'm not here so often is because we do spend half a year in California. And I have almost 7 grandkids now, and I'm being pulled everywhere. So It's nice to be here now. Haribo.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
Thank you. It doesn't always happen, and I'm thankful that I'm here.
So just as a matter of timing, right, I'm just going to, so we're trying to time it so that Gaur Arati, Sandhya Arati occurs at 6:30. And so we'd like the Srila Prabhupada disciples to lead the Pushpanjali and the Guru Vandana prayers. And so that usually takes 10, 15 minutes or so. So I think we can keep going to, like, with Srila Prabhupada disciples speaking their experience and realizations till maybe 6:15. And then at that time stop and do Pushpanjali, Guru Vandana, and then after the Arati we can come back to realizations if devotees desire. Prasadam to go will be ready. Okay? So, did you have a chance to speak?
My turn, I guess.
I'll give Sri Prabhupada Mataji the mic for when she wants to take over.
Hare Krishna. Well, I'm Vedavati, and my real name is Cindy, so I also didn't get something that started with a C. But when I got initiated, I didn't know any of that. I just cool, I'm Vedavati, and now what does that mean? What does that mean? Who's that? I came along in 1975, way past Krishna Bhamini. She was already like a mother, ensconced. She already knew everything, and she'd already been around the world by that time. But I just, I didn't join any specific temple, but I was down in Los Angeles in 1974, and so that's where I saw Srila Prabhupada 74 and 75 when he was in Los Angeles. And by that time, you know, everyone already knew how to do artis. They already knew how to cook the proper way. They already knew how to clean the floors. They already knew these things. So as a new devotee, I learned those things too, and I'm really thankful that Prabhupada set down a good base for everybody, because as Americans, we didn't necessarily know these things. And as I am older and I know different families, I think, gosh, people, why do you take so long in the bathroom? Get up, get out, get going, make your bed, hurry it up, you know, because we learned these things, you know, you get up, you roll up your sleeping bag, you wash the floor, you get going. And there was a whole system to everything that we learned that wasn't in our regular life. And that's just, of course, the material aspects, but he taught us everything. And so I'm grateful about that. And I only met him like once or twice down in LA. Maybe it was a week. I don't know, who knows. But he was there, and handing out the cookies to the children. I'd be up in the balcony or I'd be downstairs. I don't really stay anywhere in one place too long. But he was just, everyone was always so happy. He was always so kind, and it was just a really, really nice atmosphere when he was there. I mean, being with devotees is always nice, but when he was there, it was special. It was really special. And so that's the only time I saw him. Years later, I moved into the Seattle temple, not on purpose. I was put there. But we went to India one year. Yeah, we were put a lot of places. We didn't always want to go different places. So anyway, I went to India with the temple president and just about 4 or 5 devotee ladies. We went, the Sankirtan girls, and his sister was there, Pishima. And so we went, we brave, we broke away from our leader and went up to see Pishima. And I just was so amazed at how much she looked like him, and she talked like him, and her mannerisms were the same. And so it's like I wasn't watching him specifically, but I was watching her, and it was really nice to meet her as well. We were just there for a little while till the president found out we were there, and off we went back. But anyway, he was a wonderful, wonderful devotee, wonderful man, wonderful guru. He, like she said, he was so much older than us, so all of us, we were kids. We were the boys and girls. And the boys and girls, it's easy to teach your kids things, and then they learn from you. So he was our father, our guru, our grandpa, everything. So, that's it. Any questions here? Okay. I'm just I never was one for philosophy, but in the beginning, all the lectures were always about the four regulative principles, always. And so when you went to the Sunday feast, that's what they talked about. And maybe that's what encouraged people to come, because they were tired of their materialistic lives, tired of things they were doing and the religions they were in or whatever. And this was just so simple. No meat eating, no fish, no eggs, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication. Real easy. For some. Krishna, Sri Prabhupada?
See if I turn this on. Okay. Hare Krishna. So before I get started, I just wanted to mention that my god sisters and I lost two very dear Vaishnavas, Madhusudan Prabhu, and he was here with Kanchan Bala, his wife, a couple years ago. I don't know if any of you remember. The sweetest devotees you will ever meet. And he succumbed to COVID. He was a wonderful devotee the whole way through. And then we lost Urvasi.
And we lost Madhavi Dasi.
We lost Madhavi. Urvasi
Maladhari just recently, just last week, Maladhari. You wouldn't know her because she doesn't come here much.
Right.
Does she come here? Probably more than me. Sorry.
And Urvasi was a wonderful preacher, and she devoted her whole entire life, even when she was doing her real estate business, she was always preaching, cooking, doing different Hare Krishna programs. And then we are about to lose another one. Her name is Jagadatri, and she's on the Big Island, getting ready to go to Vrindavan for her departure. So I just wanted to mention that so that we could all glorify the departed Vaishnavas. So I offer my respectful obeisances unto you all. And I wrote down a few notes. I wasn't really prepared. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. First, I want to say I'm very honored to be sitting here today with all of you. Krishna has made some unusual arrangements for me to be here with my Portland family of devotees on this very auspicious day of Srila Prabhupada's appearance. I was listening this morning to Vaishesika's Vyas Puja, and there was a word that was brought up. It kind of piqued my curiosity. It's called Daravesh. Actually, it was Giriraj Swami who mentioned Daravesh. It means hippie features. Well, those of us in this generation, we know what hippie features are. Lots of long hair for the guys, facial hair, the women wearing flower-embroidered blue jeans and peace symbols in their hair and flowers in their hair. And everybody was doing all kinds of drugs and some of us were doing drugs to find God. And if Srila Prabhupada hadn't made this very difficult journey to the West, all of my efforts to seek God would have been in vain, because there was no answer. There are other spiritual traditions, but for me, those answers, the questions that I had, I didn't have answers to through those traditions. Srila Prabhupada followed his spiritual master and his order and came to the West to propagate this knowledge of Krishna consciousness, the absolute truth. He came virtually with no money, and he had no real friends. And he built an army of Krishna conscious soldiers to grow this ISKCON movement so that more and more conditioned souls can be relieved of the pain of this material world. Srila Prabhupada taught us how to weather the cosmic storm we're forced to endure, having made that horrendous misstep of thinking that we could be happy without Krishna, separate from him. But by chanting of the holy names of God, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, we are all becoming purified. We're peeling away the layers of illusion, and we're reawakening our loving relationship we have with that sweet, precious boy blue, Lord Shri Krishna. By following the order of Srila Prabhupada to spread this Krishna consciousness all over the world, wherever we are, no matter what we're doing, Krishna will bless us because Srila Prabhupada is very dear to him. The better type of worship to Krishna is to worship his pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada, you are the embodiment of the mood of Lord Nityananda. Such mercy. Without you, I am lost. Thank you for your unimaginable sacrifice. May I live to always serve you. All glories to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, your aspiring daughter, Sri Prada Dasi.
Stories. I think it looks like you have something on your mind.
Who's that? Her or me?
No,
Yeah.
Vedavati Mataji. Did you want to say something?
There's always something on my mind.
You want to have a transcendental exchange?
Hello, Hare Krishna. No, I was just going to say, Shri reminded me, my dear god sister Urvasi, she lived in our little town of Ojai, so myself, my husband Brajesh, we were very, very close. We do programs all the time, practical things. So she passed suddenly. It was just a real shock just a few weeks ago on her bicycle on her birthday. And it just, really, it was a very difficult month. Myself and two other god sisters prepared her body with all the most beautiful, auspicious dust from every holy place in India, waters from every holy river, manjaris, covering her whole body with manjaris, and tilak all over, and flag from Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, Hare Krishna Chara. I had Prabhupada chanting Namaste, Nrsimha prayers, and his beautiful Hare Krishna mantra. So her passing was immediate, and it was just a real wake-up call. One doesn't have to be sick and elderly and ailing for a long time. We can go at any moment. So as one of the devotees pointed out, it's urgent. Prabhupada, that word urgent. Yeah.
What I do think is wonderful about that, though, is that she had devotees around her. She had devotees who could do these things for her, put the manjaris and do the dust and things, because, yeah, some devotees, they just pass away by themselves in the nursing home or, whatever. And
well, we were here, and when I heard it, we immediately flew back for a week just to take care of the situation. But it was very difficult. Yeah. So this, as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, this material world is no place for a gentleman.
Yeah, it reminds me what you were saying about Mataji leaving her body and being surrounded by devotees. Indradumna Maharaj was once in his very action-driven preaching. He was in Russia, and I guess some gentleman was passing away on the airplane, and Maharaj, being very compassionate, jumped up and chanted the holy names, and he ended that passage by saying he prays that at the end of his life somebody can do that for him. So yeah, that's nice. I think we have 5 minutes, maybe. I don't see the curtain is closed yet for offering. Would any other devotee like to speak for about 5 minutes or so? And at that point, I think we could transition into Pushpanjali. Hare Krishna. Any takers?
Prabhupada's touched everybody, every single one of us.
Anybody want to speak? You want to speak? Srila Prabhupada?
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, thank you, Matajis, for the wonderful realizations. I just, since we have some time, and I had thought of speaking something if the opportunity came. Srila Prabhupada's books are the law books, as he says, and I firmly believe that for all of humanity. And the law is very simple, as we all know. Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Smaranam of Krishna. And that is what he has put in all his books. Even though the books are very deep, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, but he has focused on the essence in every single verse. Of course, he has given a very authentic translation, the word-by-word meanings, but when we read the purports, the essence, what I heard one of the devotees say, the bhavartha. There is the shabdartha and there is the bhavartha. Shabdartha can be the going into the details of the verse and dissecting it and doing a very detailed philosophical surgery on it and presenting from so many other references, and all that can be done. But Srila Prabhupada focused on the bhavartha, which means the essential meaning that we can take away from the verse that can be applied in our life, not become intellectual scholars about that particular verse, but being able to apply that in our life. So that's something I really, really appreciated in Srila Prabhupada's purports, his commentaries, that he focused on the bhavartha, the essence, the essential principle. So, one of the devotees, one of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada was sharing that you can pick up any of Srila Prabhupada's books, the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, whichever one, open any page and start reading a verse, start reading the purport. Even the person who has not much idea will still get some benefit. He'll still get the essential message. He doesn't have to start from page 1. So that is the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's purports, and I really am thankful to Srila Prabhupada for presenting his law books to us in such a lucid manner where we can get the deeper meanings, but those who are, not everybody is interested in the philosophy and the depth and everything. Those books, the law books are meant for everyone. The law is not meant for just a small set of people, it's meant for everyone. And that's exactly what his books are. So thank you, Srila Prabhupada, so much for giving us your wonderful commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita and so many other books. Thank you so much, Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much for sharing. So we want to give everyone a chance, and this is the one day that everyone can. Can one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples want to chant Pushpanjali prayers, and we'll distribute flowers, and the idea is we'll go from that, and then we'll do, if one of you all are interested, you can do Guru Vandana prayers, and then you'll do Guru Vandana. So would one of you like to chant Gaur Arti afterwards at 6:30? Rajesh Prabhu, he's walking away. So, does anybody want to chant amongst you? Anybody want to do Gaur Arti first? Would one of you like to do the Artik itself?
Yeah.
One of you can do Artik?
Yeah, she can do the arti and I'll do the sing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can you assist?
Yeah, she doesn't need my assistance, but I'll be there if you need something.
Singing, I do. Are you going to have the words for the her own Vandana song? Okay.
Did everybody get some? Pushpanjali came out. Demonstrate.
Say Aisha Pushpanjali at the end here or the end of the other
End
one?
of the
Okay.
Prabhupada's pranam is 4 lines, right? So the end of this one.
Okay.
Okay? So just flip the page and go to the next one.
Okay. So say twice
Yeah. Like
and then page.
Namo Vishnupadaya.
Namah Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale.
I don't need to read it.
Srimati
Srimate
Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine
Esha
Esh Pushpanjali Pushpanjali. I don't have any.
It's okay, keep going.
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Usha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Esha Pushpanjali
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So if everyone can kind of create space, and then we'll go into Guru Vandana prayers.
Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Kati Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Pandamui Sadma Ate Omui Savadana Mate Araprasare Pai E Bhavatoriya Yai Yahara Prasare Bai Bhavatori Yai Bhavatori Yai Krishna Prapti Hoya Yate Aite Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Kariya Kya Padma Vakya Arana Koriya Maneya Sha Arana Koriya Maneya Sha Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttama Gati Charane Rati Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttama Gati Ye prasare pure sarva asha Ye prasare pure sarva asha Chakudana dilo ye Janme janme Prabhu se Chakudana dilo ye Janme janme Prabhu se Chakudana dilo ye जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति यहाँ होते अभिजा विनाशी भक्ति यहाँ होते अभिजा विनाशी वैदिक यारा चरित Gaya Hara Charito Shri Guru Karuna Sarana Janara Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Okanath Lokera Jivana Cannot look at Vana. Ha ha, Prakara Doya, Deho Mori Parachaya. Ha ha, Prabhu Koro Doya. Deho Mori Parachaya Edeyas Guksuk Tribhuvana Edeyas Guksuk Tribhuvana Ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deho Mori Parachaya Ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deho Mori Parachaya Edeyasa Gupsu Tribhuvana Edeyasa Gupsu Tribhuvana Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Will you sing Gaur Arti? You want to sing Gaur Arti? I don't know if I can sing it. Okay. Are any of your colleagues interested? Would you like to sing Gaur Arti? Okay. Thank you.
I don't have the best voice.
Okay. Three for them. You want to sing? Okay, fair enough. Brajesh Prabhu, does he like singing? No, okay. No problem. I wonder. Would you like to sing? One of you is playing Karta. So, here.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Ki bajayo, jayo Gora Chande, Arati ka shobha. Ki bajayo, jayo Gora Chande, Arati ka Jana vitatavane Jagaman lova Jana vitatavane Jagaman lova Jaga jana mana lova Jaga jana mana Gaurange rarati shobha Jaga jana mana lobha Gaurange rarati shobha Jaga jana mana Gaurange rarati shobha Jaga jana mana lobha Gaurange rarati shobha Jaga jana mana Jaga jana mana lobha Jaga jana mana Ki badakhin nitai Megadara Nikate adetashini Vasa chatradara Chatradhara ki babasi ache goracha Ratna simhasane ki babasi Arati kore na Brahma Adi deva gane Arati Adi deva gane Ki banara hari adi ori chamar dulaya Ki banara hari adi kori chamar dulaya Sanjaya mukunda vasu Goshadi gaya Ya mukunda vasu Goshadi gaya Shankha baje Ganta baje Baje kartala Shankha baje Ganta baje Je karta Madhura mridanga मधु मधु मधुर बाजे शंख मधु मधुर बाजे शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे मधु मधु मधुर बाजे शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे मधु मधु मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल कि बहु कोटि चंद्र जिनी वदन उज्ज्वल इंद्रजिनी उज्ज्वल गाल देश बनमाला कोरे जलमाला गाल देश बनमाला कोरे जलमा शिव शिवा सुख नारद प्रेम गद गद शिव शिवा सुख नारद प्रेम गद गद भक्ति विनोदा देखे गौर रसंपाद बका शिव जयो जयो गौरा चांदे आरती के शोभा जयो जानवी टाटवाने जगमन लोभा जानवी टाटवाने जगमन लोभा नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारि जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jaya Nitai Sachinandana, Nitai Sachinandana, Nitai Sachinandana, Gaura Hari. Nitai Sachinandana, Gaura Jaya Bal Gopal, Bal Gopal, Bal Gopal, Jaya Bal Gopal, Gopal, Bal Gopal, Bal Gopal, Jaya Bal Gopal, Jaya Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe, Shama Sundar Radha, Shama Sundar Radha, Shama Sundar Shri Radha, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Srila Gurudev, 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 Jaya Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Mushnipal Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Sotar Sister Shishi A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. ISKCON BBD founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai Mushnipal Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Sotar Sister Shishi Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki. Shri Jagannath Puri Kshetra Dham ki jai. Ganga Yamuna Maiya ki jai. Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari 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 Bo. All glories to the Sama devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the Sama devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the Sama devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Do you want to play harmonium? No? Okay. You can just play cards. So Nitya will lead chanting of Nrsimhadev prayer, and then we'll have a bhajan honoring Guru, and then we can share realizations that others have desire. And prasadam will be ready to go. Oh, one other thing, we'll need your help, a little bit for outside cleaning. Tent leaves tomorrow, so we need to get our material off the back of the tent. Sorry.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlad तो नरसिम्हा परतो नरसिम्हा यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिम्हा यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिम्हा वहे नरसिम्हा हृदये नरसिम्हा हे नरसिम्हा हृदये नरसिम्हा नरसिंहवदें शरणं प्रपदे तव कर कमलवरे नखा अद्भुत शृंगार रण्यकशिपु तनवृगा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे कर कमलवरे नखा अद्भुत श्रृंगार तनवृगा नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय निताय सच्चिनंदन निताय सच्चिनंदन निताय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल श्री विघ्नविनाशी श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंह भगवान की भक्त श्री मुनि प्रहलाद महाराज की श्री प्रभुपाद की गुरुदेव की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की श्री नाम संकीर्तन की
Wonderful, Nitya. Thank you. So, there's a wonderful bhajan glorifying the mercy of Guru. And so we'll pull the screen down and we can all chant along and remember Srila Prabhupada through this. So Arpana, you want to come forward? So she's going to sing Guru Dev Kripa Bandhadiya. We'll project the words. So please participate. I would humbly like to request, I think this bhajan doesn't need 10 kartals playing at the same time. So just one kartal, one harmonium, one mardanga. Okay? Okay. And I don't think it needs a wampur per se. So everybody can kind of turn, and unless you know the words yourselves, you can see it on the screen. Thank you. So just one kartal, one harmonium, or Arpana, you want to play a harmonium or what? Is she playing? So you have to come over here. Do you want to? You can't read the translation. Why don't you just come over here instead of standing there? Do you want to look straight forward or you want to look there? Huh? This is fine. Okay. Don't make it complicated, please. Here. I think batteries. Turning red.
Okay. Here, let me just. You want to move this? Hare Krishna, everyone. We'll be singing Guru Dev by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur from Sharanagati. And before we get started, we'll begin with the translation. Guru Dev, give to this servant just one drop of mercy. I am lower than a blade of grass. Give me all help. Give me strength. Let me be as you are without desires or aspirations. I offer you all respects, for thus I may have the energy to know you correctly. Then by chanting the holy name in great ecstasy, all of my offenses will cease. O Lord and Master, when will such mercy fall to this one who is weak and devoid of intelligence? Allow me to be with you. If you examine me, you will find no good qualities. Your mercy is all that I am made of. If you are not merciful unto me, I can only weep, and I will not be able to maintain my life. Gurudev, Kripa Bindu Diya, Guru Edase, Trinapeka Atihina. Gurudev, Kripa Bindu Diya, Guru Edase, Trinapeka Atihina. Kripa Bindu Diya. Kripa Bindu Diya, Guru Edase, Trinapeka Atihina. Sakala sahana paladiya koro nijamane sprihahina. Sakala sahane paladiya koro nijamane sprihahina. Gurudev kripa bindu diya Gurueda se trinapekatihina. Gurudev sakala samana korite shakati dehonatha jatha jatha. Sakala samana
korite shakati dehonata jata jata.
Sakala samana korite shakati dehonatha jatha jatha.
Sakale samana korite shakati dehonatha jatha jatha.
Tabe to gaibo hari nama sukhe aparada habe hatha.
Tabe to gaibo hari nama sukhe aparada habe hatha.
O tabe to gaibo hari nama sukhe aparada habe hatha.
तबे तो गाइबो हरि नाम सुखे अपराध हमे हाता.
गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया गुरुवेदा से तृणपेकातिहीना.
कृपा बिंदु दिया गुरुवेदा से तृणपेकातिहीना.
कबे है नो कृपा लाभिया जाता होइबे नाथा.
कृपा लाभिया जाना पितरत होइबे नाथा.
कबे है नो कृपा लाभिया जाना कृतार्थ होइबे नाथा.
कबे है नो कृपा लभिया जाना कृतार्थ होइबे नाथा.
शक्ति बुद्धिहीना आमी अति दीना करो मोरे आत्मसात.
आमी अति दीना करो मोरे आत्मसात.
शक्ति बुद्धिहीना आमी अति दीना करो मोरे आत्मसाथ
शक्ति बुद्धिहीना आमी अति दीना करो मोरे आत्मसाथ
गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो दासे तृणापे गतिहीना
कृपा बिंदु दिया करो दासे तृणापे गतिहीना
योग्यता विचारे किछु नाही पाए तुम्हारा करुणा सारा योग्यता विचारे किछु नाही पाए तुम्हारा करुणा सारा योग्यता विचारे किछु नाही पाए तुम्हारा करुणा सारा
योग्यत विचारे किछु नाही पाए तुम्हारा करुणा सारा
करुणा न होइले कांदिया कांदिया प्राण न राखिबो
करुणा न होइले कांदिया कांदिया प्राण न राखिबो
करुणा न होइले कांदिया कांदिया प्राण न राखिबो
करुणा न होइले कांदिया कांदिया
गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो दासे तृणापे गतिहीना
कृपा बिंदु दिया करो दासे तृणापे गतिहीना
गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो दासे तृणापे गतिहीना
कृपा बिंदु दिया करो दासे तृणापे गतिहीना
ओ हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Jaya Prabhu Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, Prabhupada,
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Gurudeva, 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 Jaya Gurudeva.
Gurudeva, Gurudeva,
Jaya Gurudeva, 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 Jaya Gurudeva.
Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Gurudeva.
Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Oh Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol.
Hare Bol, oh Hare Bol,
Oh Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol.
Shri Shri Nitai Sachinandana ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande.
Hare Krishna. So, it's nice to sing the bhajan, but it's actually nice to understand what the words mean. So, I think since this is the glorious... Okay, I guess we're having a chorus. Since this is a glorious day of Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, if possible, I would like first, I think if we can just, child has to be a little bit quieter. So if we can have Srila Prabhupada's disciples read the English translation of each verse. You're having a tough time seeing it, is that what you're saying? You can't see it. Okay, well, you can come forward and we can zoom in. So please come forward. You're the three wise disciples. Please come forward, don't feel shy. We'll be fortunate if we can even chant like you later on in life. Please come. Come forward. And those of you that can read from sitting back, I think Sri Prada Mataji would like company. So her god sisters, if you can come forward, please, and chant together. Can you make some space for Mataji's? Okay. And can we zoom in a little bit more, Chandrasekhar? I think that's good. What do you think? Does that look good enough? Have a seat. Okay. It looks like we have a consensus alignment. One verse, and then your colleagues can, sorry, I'm talking like as if I'm in the hospital. Your god sisters can chant the other verse.
It's okay. I think I can make it. Hare Krishna. Wanted to make sure it was on. Gurudev, give to this servant just one drop of mercy. I am lower than a blade of grass. Give me all help. Give me strength. Let me be as you are, without desires or aspirations.
I offer you all respects, for thus I may have the energy to know you correctly. Then, by chanting the holy name in great ecstasy, all my offenses will cease.
O Lord and Master, when will such mercy fall to this one who is weak and devoid of intelligence? Allow me to be with you. If you examine me, you will find no qualities. Your mercy is all that I am made of. If you are not merciful unto me, I can only weep, and I will not be able to maintain my life. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So wonderful expression of, the spiritual master's mercy. I wanted to read something wonderful that I've saved for several years, written by Professor Hopkins, one of the, you know who he was, right? Very well-known academician, etc., who wrote forwards to Srila Prabhupada's books commonly. So he wrote something in late 1966. He said, this is recollecting that it's an astonishing story because they went back to Professor Hopkins at the end of his life, ISKCON devotees, to ask him to speak something about Srila Prabhupada. So he said, it's an astonishing story. He reflected, if someone told you a story like this, you wouldn't believe it. Here's this person, 70 years old, coming to a country where he's never been before. He doesn't know anybody, he has no money, no contacts, none of the things you would say make for success. He's going to recruit people, but please pay attention to this part, this is unique. He's going to recruit people not on any systematic basis, but just picking up whoever he comes across. And he's going to give them responsibility for organizing a worldwide movement? You'd say, what kind of program is that? But their presidents, perhaps. Jesus of Nazareth went around saying, come follow me, drop your nets, leave your tax collecting, and be my disciple. But in Jesus' case, he wasn't an old man in a strange society dealing with people whose backgrounds were totally different from his own. He was dealing with his own community. Bhaktivedanta Swami's achievements then must be seen as unique. So this is from Swami in a Strange Land. Yeah? So pretty profound expression of Srila Prabhupada's unique commitment and empowerment. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we promise that those that didn't get a chance to speak, amongst the devotees, we heard wonderful appreciation by Srila Prabhupada's disciples and some other devotees. Would anybody else like to say some words of appreciation or gratitude or etc.? All tired out? Janmashtami? Okay. Haribol. Anyone? That sounds like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Anyone? Bueller? Hare Krishna. No one, huh? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, yes. Yeah, everyone respects, Srila Prabhupada once wrote very nicely, everybody wants God to be their father. So because Father can take care of me like he always has. But very few people want to be the father of Lord Krishna. So they can serve rather than receive service. And Srila Prabhupada does that wonderfully when he shows us that. Anyone else would like to? There's so many things to say, of course, but okay. How about any of the youth? You guys chanted vigorously yesterday. Want to say any words of appreciation? No? Okay. Shrikar? You already spoke. Today, Shrikar? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was there helping with the cooking and cleaning. Thank you, Shrika. Okay. Tulsi, you want to say something? You already spoke. Where's the recording? Hare Krishna. Okay, I think we're done. Humbly ask, I don't know, are pujaris busy doing some artik or something? Are the pujaris there? Huh? Deities are so beautiful. You know, looking at them, you think today is Janmashtami. That's what I thought when I saw them. Every day is Janmashtami, but are they there? Yes. And Ram Vanmali Prabhu is out there? Ram Vanmali Prabhu is doing the most important of all pujas, the car puja. So I wanted to, can we turn on the lights? Hare Krishna. If I can have your kind attention, please come forward. Ram Vanmali Prabhu is out doing service, but you know, Sudama Pran Prabhu is here, and is Ram Vanmali Prabhu coming from there? No, he's doing puja. So, you know, the two of them, I know for a fact they were extreme. Hare Krishna, Shikar. They were so happy. This tells you what, you know, what makes us happy is, you know, the mood of a pujari is they were so happy to see all of you engaged in serving the Lord and the devotees. That just gave them a lot of joy, and they kept saying that throughout the day. So I think, you know, they've been serving Shishya Nitai Sachin and Sudama Pran Prabhu since 2017, Ram Vanmali Prabhu since, I think, May of this year. So, and because of them and their steadiness, Shishya Nitai Sachinandan are receiving the service that we should be offering them, you know, the standard which has been established. So I'd like for you all to join me in expressing appreciation to Sudama Pran Prabhu and Ram Vanmali Prabhu with a loud Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripo sindhabhyevacha titanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo namaha. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripo sindhabhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo namaha. Hari Hari Bol. Balnathai Prabhu knows what it's like. He did solo service for many, many years. So, you know, this is nice. It gives them enthusiasm. All pujaris want to engage the congregation. Whatever little you can do, it doesn't matter. You're initiated, not initiated. You can come. You can, you know, sweep the floor around the pujari room. You can help them with simple things, complicated things. Your presence is what's really required. So, no barriers, no bars, just come and serve. That's the mood of Srila Prabhupada. I remember Ram Bhadra Prabhu telling me once that, you know, we were like 17-year-old kids who just got out of high school, and Srila Prabhupada would say, go to Nigeria and go open a preaching center. It's like, so we didn't know anything, but the empowerment of spiritual master, he said, allowed devotees to do. So, you know, that's simple. So please come and serve with them, right? Yeah. Do you want to say anything? No. He's a man of few words. That's why Pujari service. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your nice service. Hare Krishna. So I think prasadam is ready, right? To go? Yeah? Okay. So we can serve out prasadam to go. I humbly request for a couple of devotees to please stay and help with just clean up this room. You know, there's flower petals, of course, and they're nicely arranged, but we can clean them up. There's a bucket we can put them in. And then outside, we need to take off our posters and backdrops that are on the tent, because the tent will go away tomorrow morning. A company from Bend brought the tent because there's such a shortage of tents in the country. And so they're going to take it away tomorrow. So we need to take the backdrops, the curtains, and all that off, okay? Can anybody here volunteer for that? Can I see some show of hand? Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Anyone else? Just 3 people? Hare Krishna. It was nice to see you yesterday. Thank you for coming. Anyone else? Come on. Nobody's empowered? Haribol. William? Chandrasekhar. That was a small hand up. Huh? Yes. Okay. How about the kids? If each of you, remember what we used to do in Japa retreat? Everybody'd go out and take a bag and pick up like one piece of garbage and we'd be done faster. So if you're shaking your hands, right? So if everybody can just kind of jointly, just like you organize the kirtan nicely, all you have to do is take off the rings that bind the curtains on the back of the wall. It's not complex. And just everything that looks like it belongs to temple should come off in an orderly way, okay? Okay. Can you help oversee? Okay, thank you. Sridhar Prabhu is going to help oversee. Prasadam will be here for you, not to worry. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatrubhisya kripasindhabhyo cha patitanam pavanabhyo vaishnavyo namo namah. Tomorrow we'll have another program, Sunday feast. Hare Krishna. Welcome. Thank you.